I had always believed that my marriage was solid, built on trust, love, and years of shared memories. We had met in college, fallen for each other quickly, and despite the ups and downs, I thought we would grow old together. But somewhere along the way, something had changed. My wife began spending more time on her phone, taking longer showers, and making excuses to avoid me. I tried to ignore the nagging doubts, thinking I was overreacting, but deep down, I knew something was wrong. It all came to a head one evening when she sat me down and said she wanted a divorce. She smiled almost casually, as if it were no big deal. I was stunned. 10 years, countless memories, shared struggles and dreams, and she wanted to end it like flipping a switch. I asked why, trying to understand, and she offered vague answers. We've grown apart, and I need space. I wanted to argue, to reason, but her mind seemed made up. The divorce process began. Each court date was more painful than the last. I sat quietly as she presented her case, her demeanor confident, almost mocking. At times, she laughed during the proceedings, at my carefully thought-out statements, at my attempt to show how much this affected me. The laughter cut deeper than any words she could have said. It felt like she was enjoying my pain, relishing the idea that she had all the power. The day of the final hearing arrived. The courtroom was filled with the usual tension of legal battles, lawyers shuffling papers, murmurs from the audience. But what stood out most was her attitude. She walked in with an air of triumph, smiling as if victory was already hers. She glanced at me briefly, a sly smirk on her face, and I felt a pang of betrayal, but forced myself to remain composed. Then the judge called for order and began reviewing the case. My wife started to speak, outlining her demands and asserting her version of events. She laughed again, thinking her confidence would intimidate me and sway the judgment. But then the judge paused, a stern look crossing his face. "Before we finalize this divorce," he said, "we have uncovered evidence that needs to be addressed. It appears there has been infidelity on one side, which directly affects the terms of this case." Her laughter died instantly. Her face shifted from smugness to shock, then fear. The judge presented the evidence. Screenshots of messages, photographs, and statements from credible witnesses. Every piece of proof pointed to her betrayal. She tried to speak, to deny, but the proof was undeniable. The courtroom was silent. The power that had once been hers now completely reversed. I felt a mix of emotions: relief, vindication, and sadness. Relief that the truth had surfaced, vindication that she couldn't simply laugh her way out of accountability, and sadness for the years lost to deception. The judge adjusted the divorce terms to reflect her betrayal, ensuring that justice was served. She left the courtroom in silence, her confidence and smug laughter gone. I walked out with a heavy heart, knowing that although the marriage had ended painfully, the truth had a way of prevailing. Her laughter, which had been so cruel, had been replaced by a sobering reality. It reminded me that while betrayal can hurt, integrity, patience, and the courage to face truth will always outshine deception. Even as I rebuilt my life after that day, I carried a quiet strength within me, knowing that no one's actions, no matter how painful, could take away my dignity or my sense of justice.